This AgVision program is made possible through the generous support of Syngenta Seeds NK brand. The results you need, the freedom to choose. And by Farms.com. Ag news, market prices, ag careers, and farm real estate. You'll find it all at Farms.com.
Well, it is a bit obvious to say that everyone faces problems. The major difference is how we apply problem solving to the process. In their attempt to reveal top problem solving techniques, Al, Victor, and Danny now turn their attention to this statement. Top managers use two analytical skills in solving problems. The first is perspective. They look at multiple frames of reference. The second is that they always look for the heart of the issue. The reason they don't jump to conclusions is they have learned that every complex problem has at least one solution, which is simple, obvious, and wrong.
Farmers, the average farmers tend to be followers, and they'll often not risk a change for fear of failure or fear of ridicule. Top farmers instinctively apply problem-solving techniques as they do their planning. And so they tend to look, although it's a cliche, they tend to look for opportunities in various problems. And and since they tend to be in a mode of continuous change anyway, that gives them more options when issues come up, when problems come up. It helps them identify creative opportunities, since they are already year by year trying new things and changing new things, and they tend to be mentoring with peers, and they have a relationship with consultants and bankers. So that's a big part in dealing with problem solving. Part of it is an instinctive approach, an instinctive nature to top farmers, but the other part of it also was learned. They learned from their peers, from other top farmers, that this is one of the better ways to deal with problems, is if you make an effort to talk to other top farmers, or make an effort to talk to consultants or advisors, other types of advisors that can help give you some input and insights into how you may manage a particular problem. The average farmer tends to be an independent, stoic type of individual, and who tends to hunker down in tough times, or hunker down when there's a problem and just wait it through. And top farmers are certainly more forward-thinking and are prepared for problems. And agriculture is not a simple enterprise, and there's always problems coming up, and I guess in conclusion, just top farmers are prepared for them and are ready to deal with them. They're great problem solvers.
One example I hear over and over is that if farmers just had higher prices for what they sell, all their problems would be solved. The reality is that in a competitive market, the returns to the average producer are always being driven to break even. If prices remained high, producers would respond by using more inputs, increasing output, and driving prices down. On the demand side, they would bid up land rents and the price of other capital assets. Then at that point, prices would have to be even higher for the average producer to be profitable, and the cycle would start all over again. Aside from looking at things from multiple perspectives and making sure they get the cause and not just the symptoms of the problem dealt with, one of the most important attributes of great problem solvers is that they identify and learn from their past mistakes. The one thing that strikes me most often when I see farmers are having problems is that they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. It's like Albert Einstein once said, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them.
If I use an example, currently in Ontario and Canada, when it comes to agricultural prices, we're talking about low commodity prices. That is a clear problem. The next step is to understand what we call the key success factors, or rather the measures of success. How will we weigh successes, or what do we look at that measures this problem or the solutions? When thinking about solutions, how do we weigh them, the pluses and minuses for the potential solutions? What are our yardsticks? For instance, talking about agriculture and the problem I've used as an example, one of them would be how quickly we could solve it would take us to solution. Number two, how much control do we have over that resolution as a solution? Number three, what it would cost us. And then once we've done this, the third step that we would want to go through is to score the alternatives that we have. So if we go back to the original problem for agriculture in Ontario or Canada today, low commodity prices, key success factors would be, if I look at alternatives, and let's throw some alternatives out there that I've heard talked about. Number one, government subsidies as a potential solution for this problem. Number two, looking for niche markets as a potential solution for this problem. Or number three, just simply holding out for higher prices. That's another possible solution for this problem. Then my drivers would be, how quickly could I get, would any of these solutions help me? What control do I have? And what would they cost me? Now, asking for, let's take some of those solutions. Government subsidies. In truth, we have very little control, or relatively little control, at best, oblique influence on getting the government to come to offering us a good program. It does not mean that we cannot follow this as an alternative, but definitely it's not something that's totally in our control. Niche markets, absolutely, as a potential solution, that this is an alternative that we can pursue. However, there are very significant switching costs and adoption costs when it comes to moving into products or commodities or strains of commodities that we've not produced in the past. It doesn't mean it's not a great solution, but these are considerations that we have to weigh and score carefully. Holding out for prices, our experience is that this can be very expensive, and if we look at history, probably will only work once in every 8 or 10 years.